Okay guys, so the last part of the puzzle is actually updating a to-do. So how are we going to do this? I'll go ahead and add a button that says update. So right back into our to-dos.blade.php, right here we have a button that says delete. So I'll go ahead and copy this and paste it right there. But this is going to say update, and I'll just go ahead and make it small by adding a button extra small class. Now right here, rather than saying to-do.delete, I'll say to-do.update. That will be the name of my route, and I would still pass in a parameter which is going to be the ID of the current to-do in our for each loop. Now I need to define that route. So I'm in my web.php. I'm going to define that route. I'll just copy this and paste. So it's going to be a get also, but this is going to be update. Okay, and this is also going to receive a parameter, and this is going to go to the update route. Okay, and this is going to be update. So we have a route, it's taking us to /to-do/update, and it's receiving the ID, and it will be processed by the update method in our to-dos controller, and the name of that route is to-do.update. Let's go ahead and refresh that. You see now we have update, and if we hover, it takes us to our to-do/update/1. okay, to-do/update/2, and so on and so forth. Okay, so let's go ahead and just change that color, and right here we won't say button danger, we'll just say button info. And if I refresh, okay, that looks great. Now when we click this update, it's gonna give us an error because the update method doesn't exist. So we'll go ahead to our controller, so our to-dos controller, and we'll create the update method. So public function update method. And as usual, if we are receiving a parameter in our routes file, we need to receive the parameter right here at this method. Okay, so once we receive that update, first we have to find the to-do in our database, exactly the same way we did for the delete, and we store that here. And the next thing we're going to do is return a view where we are going to update the data for this to-do. Okay, so we'll call that view update, and we're going to pass in the data for that particular to-do. So we'll say to-do right here, and this is going to be the data in the variable to-do. So we find the to-do using the ID that we received, and we pass it right here, and we pass it to that view. The view is called update. So we'll go ahead and create a new view right here. I'll create a new view, and I'll say update.blade.php. So I'll just come to my to-dos, and I'll copy that, and in my update.blade.php I'll paste it. Okay, and the next thing, I'll want a form. Okay, so I'll just go ahead and leave that form right there, and it's also extending the layout. Okay, so that's good. So right here, rather than saying the action should go to create to do, I'll go ahead and say the action should go to /to-do/save. Okay, and the method is going to be post, and we are also going to be passing our CSRF field, the token, and right here the name is also going to be to do. But now I'm going to include a value, and this value is going to be the to do that we received from our controller. So to do. Okay, so if I come back and I refresh, you see I have a field right here, and the data in there is the to do. Okay, so let me go back, I refresh, and I click update. You discover I have a field, and the data in there is the to do that we passed in. So let me go ahead and edit that so that the input is not so short. So I'll just say right here be a 12 and no call offset. So if I refresh, okay, it looks a little bit better, but that's not the point. Okay, so at least we're able to see that when I visit the update route right here, the to do is passed into the input. Okay, so right here we have a form, and when we say, let's say we visit the update for the created by the team of Laravel developers, if I click update, you discover that right here the input is automatically set to the update. Now we can actually update this data. Okay, but it's gonna go to the to-do/save route, which we don't have. So we'll go to our web.php, and as usual we'll create a new route. So right here we'll have a new route, but this is going to be a post, and like we defined, it's going to do, and we have to define what controller is gonna do this for us. So we'll say uses and the to-dos controller. So to-dos controller at, we'll call a save method, and we'll just go ahead and give a name to this route. Okay, so we'll call this route to-dos.save. Okay, so to-dos.save is our route. So right here in our form, we'll go ahead and use the name of the route to call the action. So we'll say route, and this will be to-dos.save, and we'll pass in a parameter, which is the ID of the to-do that we are trying to update. So we'll say ID, and this would be the to-do ID right here. Okay, so we are calling the to-dos.save route when our form is submitted right here, and this is using the save method, which we're gonna create right now. So we'll create the to-dos.save method right here. So we'll say public function save, and the first thing we have to receive as a parameter right here is an instance of the request, because this is a post and we need that data. So we'll say request, and the next thing we have to receive is actually the ID that is passed as a parameter on this route. Okay, so right here I'm just gonna die dump the request, and I'll just get everything that has been passed in that request using my all method. So let's go ahead to that route. If I refresh and I click enter, it submits. So missing argument 2 for to-dos controller save method, and that means I have a mistake in my route post right here. And I hope you saw that, because we have to actually receive the ID parameter right here. Okay, so if I go back and I refresh and I click enter, works perfectly. So first of all, we have our update.blade. We are calling the to-dos.save, and we are passing in a parameter of ID. So remember, when we are passing that parameter, we need to receive it right here in our routes file. So we define that, and we're receiving it in our to-dos controller right here. So how do we update our database?